Hey, everybody. Listen, we got distracted talking about Linda.
Fucking
Welcome,
Linda.
welcome to Streaming Rainbow Inferno, Streaming Rainbow's guide to hell. And this is a talkback. Hey, listen, also, there's a great cat I know called Linda.
The
And
vibes for this talkback are going to be immaculate off
We're
the bat.
so
listen,
Oh, yeah.
we
So
started.
professional.
Listen, beautiful. Hey, guys, this is truly an indicator of how tonight's going to go.
We're
So
out of
chill.
Have fun.
We're out of hell. Unfortunately, your characters are still there. Guys, this
I'm
is
in a personal hell, but that's a different story.
listen. We don't have the time or the credentials to go into that. Hey guys, this is the talkback for Canto 1, Chapter 1 of Inferno. I am your Game Master Eli, and with me for the last time is this first table of players. As an introduction, we have got Julia as the false prophet. We have got Daniel as the serpent. We have got Mikey as the pagan. And we have got Mags as the saint. And yeah, we're just here to chat about our experience, answer questions. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in whatever chat you're in. Also, hey, I think we're actually streaming on Moonbeam. Sup, Moonbeam? Welcome. Check us out on Moonbeam. It's a great new streaming service. I think you'll find. First off, let's start with an easy one. How'd you guys like hell? How'd you guys like the Dark Forest?
Loved it.
It was a fine place, you know. Had a good food.
Beach too sandy, water too wet. 1 star.
Yeah.
That beach was
Wildlife wasn't
definitely
that
sand.
friendly, but
Definitely
The water
sand.
was a bit
all
cold
sand,
as
no
as I drank.
bones, all sand.
the sand is bones. They eat the bones into sand. I had to.
Amazing.
Wow, that really took you out,
We
bro.
lost the saint. The saint is gone, guys.
Just kick him out. Just kick him out of the street.
Wow, I should get a Netflix
That's it
special.
for
Damn.
series regular mags. What a wrap.
What a wrap.
Yeah, this is going to be a really relaxed conversation, you guys. We've already all talked about this. But looking back, so I will be honest, guys, with Inferno, I basically said, I gave these 4 amazing people a list of archetypes that they got to choose from and said, pick your favorite. Also, hi, you know nothing. Which for some of these people is real hard when they would like to do pages of backstory.
Wow, Julia, who would do that, Julia?
What? What? Where am I?
So now that you have lived through the Dark Forest, now that you've existed through the Dark Forest,
That's the right word.
would any of you are any of you wishing you had gone with a different archetype?
No.
Absolutely not.
I was close. Originally,
No, you
it
go.
was between the two. I had 2 original classes archetypes I wanted to choose, and it was between Serpent and the Slave, which is the monk archetype.
Ooh.
And the reason I didn't choose it was I heard everyone else was a religious fucker, so I was like, there should be just one normal guy in this. So I'm gonna go with the Serpent. Mm-hmm.
Interesting story, yeah.
I was looking at obviously the Saint. The Serpent actually was on my short list, but I think that was the first one that I kind of cut. And the third one was the Ranger's archetype, which is called the Exile, because it was their grievous sin was like treason against your country.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be an interesting thing to like talk about later on down the road. But my biggest drive for picking the Saint was the whole like spiritual like debate in and of itself. What is a religious, pious asshole like the saint doing in hell? What the hell did they have to do that was so bad that it landed them down here? And I think that I personally, and I dabble. I love paladins. I love rangers. So that was kind of a hard little battle for me as well, because like, no, Gabby, it wasn't paladin related. Actually, that's the shocker right there. I just gravitated towards my fucking go-tos naturally.
Can't help it.
I can't help it. You know, sometimes you got favorites. Sometimes you have favorite kids, and you can't help but pick one over the other. But it's just like with my background growing up in the church and everything, like being within such a like religious environment, it was kind of a little bit more like I gravitated towards that story a little bit more because I wanted to explore it and I want to see what other people do with it later on. It's a really interesting like motif. It's a very interesting like character storyline where it's like you have to grapple with what you were raised to believe and how that belief has intrinsically harmed others and reckoning with that as well.
Yeah. Mikey, is there anything for because I think all of us, I think all of you had like a couple different options, and I know you did. You were kind of going back and forth.
Yeah, for me it was definitely originally I was actually going to choose the beast, but the more that we went on about it, and after seeing some people were thinking about going that route, I picked up a second backup as an idea, and the more we talked about it, and the beast was open, I just decided that, you know what? I've never played a druid before. Let's see it. Let's see how this feels. And honestly, I had the best time playing it. It was so fun. The beast is barbarian.
Yeah. Before we dig in, because I want to dig into how you guys, hell yeah, Courtney is right. Play more druids. I love druids. Yeah, I was asked by somebody at this table who I would have played if I got to play at this. I think this is an interesting two-part question, which is if I could choose from one of you all, who would I have wanted to play? And it has been so fascinating to watch all of you take your archetype and like really explore that space of hell. And so there are so many awesome things to choose from. I probably would have gone the saint for the same reason, because I also have a history of Christianity. Not so much religious trauma, but I've got it. Because also if I had just chosen an archetype, I would have gone with the vicar, which is the archetype for the lost cleric, because a priest in hell, wow. Sup, fam?
Oof.
Wild. Yeah, Julia. So I mean, you fucking rocked it with the prophet, because there's nothing false about that bitch. There's actually a lot of false things about that bitch, but not false prophet. The prophet is totally 100%. So yeah, what was your journey with picking that character?
Yeah, I had a long list of options.
Yeah.
I was looking at the Jester for a while, which is the bard. And I was also looking at the pagan, and I was looking at the slave too, I think. But I feel like my sort of typecast for a lot of things I've been on this channel is the like sweet, innocent, doesn't know why they're there, like just kind of is having the worst day and just got thrown here, like thinking about
Sophia.
Yeah, think about Beck and think about Ainsley.
Yeah.
Beck, Ainsley,
Yeah.
Wally, to an extent.
Evening, going way back to my first appearance on the channel. So I kind of wanted to break out of that a little bit and be like, okay, what's the complete opposite of someone who like has no idea why they're here, someone who knows exactly why they're here and is also a big bitch. Because I don't play mean a lot. That's not where I like naturally want to be. But it
At least fictionally.
It just came out.
I just like there was something about like the aesthetic of the false prophet and like having the idea of them being a sort of cult leader that was really fun to me. And also I've been playing a warlock in a home game for like 3 years now, so I like felt familiar enough with it. Except I forgot that you only have one spell slot at level 1.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, let me just do something I've never done before, while like still existing in the familiarness of it being a warlock. And I'm really happy with how it went.
Yeah. So how was it for you guys? So as a reminder, everybody, Inferno is a homebrew setting for D&D 5e. So how was it playing this specialized? It's still 5e, so the rules were the same, but how was it playing a first level of your thing, but like with those very specific archetype traits kind of hemming you in? How was that experience?
Hard as hell. Thank you for asking.
What do you mean?
It's just like there's only if you don't have a whole lot of experience with 5e, level 1 is like still hard, but like that's like how you get the baby mechanics. It's like literally like the tutorial part of the whole campaign. Like level 1, get you started. This is basic rolls, basic like wisdom saves, like all that kind of stuff. But someone who, as Gabby politely mentioned in the mains paladins, not being able to do the fun stuff yet, kind of a bummer. It is a fucking meat grinder, especially when we were literally put through a meat grinder in front of a bunch of wild animals. Thank you, Eli. But I mean, it was easy, but it was just like weird because it's like going through a game with deja vu, being like, I know these controls, I know what I'm doing, but why is it so hard?
Anybody else?
And just throwing my controller at the TV screen at the same time.
For Serpent, I think I think a level 1 Serpent is overpowered for level 1. I could polymorph into a snake and do a fuck ton of poison damage. And I could cast Suggestion, and with I have sneak attack, and with like all the other things that I chose, I had like Relentless Justice and Aegis. So like a bunch of smaller things allow me to Cunning Dash and all that crap. So it was just like, I maybe level 1. It felt like I was playing a level 3 or 4 character, even though we were level 1, just because of the spells and abilities I was able to have. So that was awesome. That was amazing.
I tend to actually find lower level D&D like way less intimidating. Like I know I said I've been playing a warlock for 3 years. That campaign started at level 3, and like even that I have dyscalculia, so my brain like takes a while to like understand certain things. So, and it's like, you know, the longer I've been doing it and the more like stuff is like piled on, the more I'm like able to get used to it. But for just like starting for something like this, I really appreciated that we weren't super thrown in the deep end yet, and that I only had to worry about just Eldritch blasting until it's dead because I don't have any spells, so I don't have to worry about what they do. Yeah, let me just hellish rebuke my friend real quick.
That was wild. That was such a funny choice to use your 1 spell slot on a bitch slap.
I didn't know it was my 1.
I know.
I thought warlocks at least get 2. I didn't realize you get your second one later because they fucking hate warlocks.
That was always it's still hilarious that the one spell slot was used for infighting when we were about to go for
When it didn't even matter.
a battle.
Like a
When it
2-hour
didn't
combat session.
matter.
Combat, it's
I'm
so
proud, but I'm
good.
not gonna say I'd take it back if I had the if I
Hey, don't, because it was
Hindsight's
perfect. It was
20/20.
100%.
I mean, listen, Julia might. False Prophet absolutely owned that
that
shit.
like what, like 2 fire damage I did you? Worth it.
Something like that.
Those 2 fire damage are what caused me to spend a hope later on in combat because they were already low on health. There are
Worth
consequences.
every sizzle.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, speaking of, that's a great thing to bring up. What do you guys think of the hope mechanic? How did that affect your gameplay?
It was exceptional. Oh,
This is
Because,
Daniel's
like, when
question.
you-
This is really Daniel's question.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You're in like such a hopeless place of hell. What, and it's a mechanic, and you're playing such a hopeless character. Actually, like, it's something you can gain and get is so cool to me because it's like usually it's like an RP thing. It doesn't have any kind of stake. Like, you can literally just wake up the next day and just be like, this character, they need to just be hopeful, so I'm just going to make it that way. But with this, it's an actual mechanic that's a precious thing that you can lose and gain. And with the homebrew rule of sacrificing a hope to restore a character back to life, so cool. Oh my god, that was amazing, because it's like it's sharing hope in hell, and that's just like a really, really cool aesthetic. And for me, when it comes to RP, that allowed the giving hope to Saint allowed me to like open myself up to Saint, because I imagine like a connection between the two of them now because of that spent hope. And it was just like it's such a cool mechanic. I love it.
Yeah. I like also found my like using it in an RP sense because I used it for the pagan, and like my brain at first was like, oh, I'm gonna like use this as like a manipulation, like, look at me, I'm such a good person, I'm sacrificing myself for you.
The
And
false
then,
prophet
like-
manipulating people?
What?
What?
And like
Catholic Hell server?
yeah. God damn it. But then like in doing that, it did like become more genuine. And I think like that's kind of where like the start of the pagan and the false prophets relationship happened, which is not healthy by any means, but like is in a more like interesting gray area of like, this is the first person that the false prophet has actually like genuinely cared about and not just immediately thought about how can I use this person, and like through like giving a piece of themselves to them, which like I don't think they have ever really done, at least in a way that matters.
Mm-mm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Mikey or Max?
So, like, as one of the lone people who didn't expend all of their fucking hope points in one session, Daniel,
Hey. The serpent still has 30. It's fine. That's really just a problem for
the next
level
person.
9. Canto 10
I thought
serpent.
is it 30 or
So
is
sorry.
it 29? It's one of those two. Because
It's
it doesn't
33.
start-
There's 33 hope points. I kept saying 32, but
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha.
So listen, again,
I gave them a
Payday.
nice even number.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's a very like interesting like storytelling mechanic. I think it's a very good way of like telling the play, not just the player but the character, hey, you have like this thing on you, you have a resource on you that can turn the tides, but once you run out, you're fucked. Like, you have to be smart about how you spend these points. You have to think about not just about the moment, but like what happens here on out after that.
Mhm.
And I think like it adds really good stakes to the campaign that, some 5e campaigns there are a lot of really good like campaigns I'm in that like have these added stakes. Adu being the time loop and being like, hey, how many more of these universes do you have until it's gone? Bounty with Lux literally threatening us every single goddamn day how many days we have left to solve this to solve whatever the fuck's going on. Um,
I'll answer this question after Max's genuinely.
That's
I was complimenting Lux. I was in the middle of complimenting
I know.
Lux, and I get attacked. I get fucked.
my
Hey, guys,
fucking god.
The real answer, guys. I have learned all of the bird calls, all of the Max bird calls, and I have done the special dance. So
Well, you also
their
had a
eyes
lot of
are
bird seed on hand, so you know.
So much
Eli, you
bird
don't
seed.
have to. You already got me.
yeah, just
Um,
lots of bird seed.
Yeah. But I think it adds a very good stress mechanic to the game, where it's like, where again you have like a really good resource to. Jesus Christ!
Here we go. Thanks, Lux.
Lux is coming for blood.
Motherfucker, I didn't.
Sniper. Hey, what do you got to say about Daniel and Mikey, who you've never GM'd?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lux.
Which would love to.
Never met.
Again, cycling back to my point before I like absolutely lose it. I love having
YouTube.
I love having something in the game that stresses me out a little bit. Like basically saying like you have time to figure it out, you don't have a lot of time to do it though, or on the vice versa, you've got shit to help you out later down like throughout the whole campaign, but are you going to spend it now and deal with the consequences immediately, or are you going to fix that problem now and deal with it later down the road? Like when you get to to the 9th level of hell, how many hope points are we going to are our characters going to have left, and what happens then when shit is really like pushing them against the wall? And I think that's a really good mechanic.
Yeah. Mikey?
I think it does exactly what it intends to do, and is amazing at doing so. It is extremely tempting.
It's so tempting.
As someone
Yes.
who did not use any of his or theirs, but 100% was willing to risk it for the biscuit with, did I say 2 or was I going with 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. To go ahead and just be like, I will toss this up just to get put back in.
Yeah.
It was so like it constantly had me thinking of different ways that we could use them. Was just what was constantly rolling through my head of how else can we use it. But it, like you guys said, it raises the stakes tenfold.
So, Max brought up a really good point. Stupid, whatever. I will never ever get it right on which direction I'm pointing. So, as a reminder for everybody, there are 10 cantos, so 10 chapters of this game. So we had the Dark Forest, which is where these players spent their 3 sessions, which is really just learning how the mechanics work. As I've described it, this is the part of the video game where you do learn how to operate the camera and how to jump and dash and things like that. And now they have entered into the first circle, which is Limbo. That's going to be the next canto that happens. They all knew this going in, that this would be it for them. So did you guys go into the gameplay thinking about the future of your characters, or did you say, fuck it, we ball?
I'm definitely the fucking we ball, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the fact that we were only here for 3 sessions really kind of gave us the permission to be like, okay, this is a sprint, not a marathon. You're here for only 3 sessions. Do what you want and hand it to someone. That's kind of how I thought of it, of just
double it and give it to the next guy.
Pretty much, like any RP moments you want to get in here, this is your moment, and you're only here for 3 episodes. So get it in while you can.
I love that.
To play on the track and field metaphor, it's a relay race for sure.
Yes. Yes.
To sort of like lean into what Daniel said, like this kind of like this felt like a prologue. This didn't feel like an intro. This felt more like a soft, like exposit, like not that's not the right word, like introductory, like feeling into like who are these characters, what situation are they in, and like basically what are the stakes. Going into it, I had no idea how I was going to play the Saint. I just kind of had an idea that they were, you know, this religious like person with sort of a little bit of a shady backstory. And I really didn't know how I was going into it and how I was playing them until like the moment I got into character. I was just like, all right, well, exactly what Eli said, like this, we're learning controls. I'm learning who this character is in the exact moment I am playing this character. Like, I'm going to be so real. This was probably one of the most fun and the most difficult campaigns I have been in because of that reason.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting idea, and I would 100% do it again.
Yeah. I feel like I went in with like clearly not like a concrete plan because I understood I wasn't allowed to write my
Hey, listen. Hey, guys, audience, I definitely said, write whatever you want to write. I will choose what I give and take. Like, this it's just not canon.
I, knowing myself, knew that I couldn't write my full Word document that I usually do. So I went in with, like, a very loose plan, which, you know, like, I say that I like writing really long backstories. Another, like, some of my favorite games that I've done are also one where it's like you make your character like 10 minutes before you go. Like the Bluebeard one shot and the Wickedness one shot that I did with Cam and Sarah, where it's like talk for like maybe 30 minutes and then so this was like a weird sort of like in between of that I really vibe with. And also with like knowing that we're the people who are setting up things for like other people to take on. There were things where it's like I knew I wasn't going to touch on this because I want someone else to, and then there were things that I was planning on like not touching on, but then like I felt the need to, like, if that makes sense, like the thing with the false prophets, like never raising their voice and being a very contained, like calm, chill person. I was going to set that up for someone else to then take that and let them lose it. But then we had a very frustrating fight with some cats. So I was like, okay, that can be my thing. Like losing it and screaming can be my thing. And then if other people want to take that further, they 100% can and should. And then there are some things where it's like in between sessions, I was like thinking of things that the prophet would say, like in this situation. But then like I realized I'm probably not going to be playing them if and when that situation comes up. So that's just something that other people get to play with. And I really love that. I really love that like people are going to be collaborating on individual characters like this. I just think that's like not something you really get with any other type of home game or stream or whatever.
Yeah. I guess that actually is a really cool transition question of like, is there anything that you hope carries through to the next players? Or even so, I will tell everybody, my lovely players here have all been introduced to their successors, and I have given them free reign to talk and basically wreck my life. Keep secrets if they want. That's totally fine. I will destroy them. It's all good. It's all good. But so all of my players here have the opportunity to share their experience and any little points to the next people. But is there anything that you would hope that makes it even past the next Canto, or not?
I guess I hope that I feel one of the easiest tropes to play into the Saint is to really lean in to like a religious zealot asshole type. And for me, playing the Saint the way that I did, which was like giving that character a little bit more depth than just straight pious. I really hope that whoever carries the mantle from here to the 9th ring has like that sort of understanding, because like truly the saint's not a good person. They're in hell, clearly. Like, not like, I guess with the exception of the pagan who's here because they did not accept the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ into their heart and soul. We're all pretty much valuable people. And I really hope whoever picks up the saint kind of carries that forward. Like, yes, you're allowed to be like a good, like a caring and good person and keeping your own faith, while like multiple things are allowed to be true. You're allowed to be a good religious person. That does not mean you are allowed to neglect the fact that maybe some of your actions have consequences. Maybe your beliefs have hurt people, and maybe you made a deal and got a power that really just surprised the shit out of your friends in the middle of combat that they didn't know about. Oops, sorry.
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast.
That's my thing.
Eldritch Blast. But like, I really, one of my favorite things to do with characters is just really create like highs and lows, and I hope that whoever gets the saint, one of my favorite characters that I've gotten to play, even in just 3 short sessions, I hope that they're able to understand that assignment and run with it in their own way.
Yeah.
I'll go. Unless one of you want to. Okay. I think for the false prophet, the like biggest thing that they are contending with right now is genuinely caring about another person for the first time, beyond just like caring about what other people can do for them.
Yeah.
And like genuinely like being worried about losing people, not just because then they won't have whatever that person can provide, but because they won't have that person. And kind of similarly to Mags, I think it would be easy to just say, this fucking deer skull bitch sucks, you know? And like, yeah, obviously they do, but
they don't. I will die for any
False
of you.
prophet has done nothing wrong.
I mean, listen,
in their life.
Hey, listen. If we all go to hell for starting a cult, I guess I'm guilty. I don't know.
The thing about like the goal of this ultimately is repenting for what you have done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And like, while I sort of played the prophet as someone who like is lashing out because they have been hurt in their past, kind of like what Maggie said, that does not excuse all of your actions, and like you are at fault for the ways that you hurt people and for the messed up ways, the things that you do to others. So I think like the main thing that this character is contending with is like a narcissist who's like waking up, and like a manipulator who's like actually like seeing what they're doing and like actually realizing that they haven't been making people feel good, and realizing that through someone else making them feel good. So I guess I would just say like, this is not a villain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. Daniel or Mikey?
What a statement. They're not a villain.
I mean, technically, like, here's the thing. Like, technically, none of you are villains, but you are all in a place where villains are supposedly supposed to end up.
Yeah, I mean, like,
which is interesting.
I'm thinking about that conversation that Prophet and Pagan had at the end, where it's like, yeah, we'll say whatever we have to get out of here. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. We'll be like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. My hope, play the game. My hope is that eventually the false prophet will actually be sorry.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, I'd love to see
Stay
that.
tuned, Kanto 10 in
Probably will. That's what the 9
2027.
circles
In
about.
2020.
And if that doesn't happen, to be so clear, if that doesn't happen, I'm sure that will also be so fascinating too.
Yeah,
Because what does it mean for someone to like start to have this realization and then realize they just like can't?
yeah.
I hope for the pagan that they find a way to keep the feeling of innocence as well as have that argument of forgiveness for those who have wronged them, or not necessarily wronged them in that sense, but just, well, to be honest, for the exact reason why they're there.
Fuck.
And that they figure a way to play the game and play it well.
Yeah, I've said this many times, and as I've been having conversations with people who are interested at playing at this table, also, hey guys, do you want to play at this table? There are
You should.
10 fucking chapters, and
Fucking
this is
should.
going until 2027. So there's a link to our casting form in our link tree. And thanks Lux for putting that in the chat in Twitch. Put in apply and I will have a conversation with you. I would love to talk to anybody who wants to nerd out about weird shit like TTRPGs and Dante's Inferno. But the really interesting thing about the pagan, because a lot of people are like, oh, a druid. I have gotten that kind of vibe of like, oh, it's not very interesting. And I was like, I think that is one of the most interesting. You guys are all playing these amazing characters beautifully well. There are pieces that each of you guys have done, and I've told you guys this in personally very, very explicitly, and probably a little bit too much gushing. I'm very effusive and loving because I have to make up for how mean I am as a GM.
Yeah, Eli's aftercare is really great, guys.
Oh, great.
10 out of 10.
But the thing about the pagan that I really find fascinating is how do you redeem yourself from something that you, without losing yourself. And that's I mean, I there are things that I hope that I see of the through lines, and I'm going to be the one living it as you guys are all going and changing. I will. I'll pick my favorite. No, I can't, because they're all. I love you. I love them all.
I love all of my children equally.
For very,
I don't
very
care
different
for
reasons.
Job.
Like, I hope they all lose.
I hope. Listen, I want all of them. I love them so much. I hope they all lose all their hope and stay in hell with me forever. That's
there.
what I want.
Already there.
That's what I want. But no, I find it really interesting, like how as the pagan, because again, as a reminder, the reason the pagan is here is because they are unbaptized. So it's like, okay, how do you play the game? How do you get baptized? Like, there might be a way to do that in future cantos. But what does it mean to be redeemed in that case? Like, how deep does this go? And I'm really curious to see how that goes. And it's like, how do you stay true to who you are and what makes you good? And as your hope dwindles, what does that mean? How does that change this innocent person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, baptized.
Baptized. Yeah.
Baptized.
I am excited to see how the successors do going forward.
Yeah.
The pagan really just like breaks my heart because there's just like no winning.
Also, I hope that accent makes it to Canto 10.
I have so many hopes for it.
It's a vaguely Slavic accent. Daniel, anything that any hopes or dreams for your child as they leave your hands and go on to the next?
No, not my child. I hope my child spends as much hope as possible. I really hope they do. But genuinely, though, in terms, I hope that the next people who take this character realize just how how damaged Serpent is as a person and as a character, because their choices they're in hell for thievery, and they had, and in my mind it was okay. My options were the options were steal and buy food or starve to death, and that's were the options, and they're in hell for choosing to survive. So it's like a very hopeless situation of just like, what the fuck was I supposed to do? And I really look forward to seeing how genuinely I really hope that they find peace in the because they have a deep hatred for society and the way that it has just screwed them over, and how society is built in a mirror to religion, because religion kind of came first, I think. And I really hope that they just kind of have hope that things will get better, rather than just kind of living in this bleakness of just like, it's shit, it's always gonna be shit. And I really hope that they, by the end of this, I want them to have as much hope as possible. Like, they regained all of it that the previous ones have spent. I think that would be just a beautiful, beautiful way for them to end their character.
Yeah. Last question before I kind of go into, I want to have a section of like conspiracy theory talk about things without going into too many details that we don't want to give away. So are there any last, is there anything else that you guys want to share about your characters, your character creation, any ways that your character surprised you? Like Max said, they didn't know how the saint was going to be. So Daniel.
I honestly, I have a question for everyone else. What was our favorite Eli DMing
God, Jesus,
session?
I gotta go.
For me, it was for. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
For me, it was. I love the scenes where we have to roll dice and there's a threat of dying, but it's not combat. So, us going down the mountain, that was like at the very end. That scene was so fun. I just love the stakes of, you could fall to your death and respawn at the lake, and there's nothing we can't spend a hope to bring you back. It's just like, you just got to. It was like such a fun scene to RP walking or climbing down a mountain together.
Mine's similar to that, specifically the description of like the sea of bodies at the bottom of that cliff, especially because I'm the only one who like saw that.
Yeah.
And like you and Bastion does this too. It's just like this very casual description of the worst thing you could ever possibly imagine in your goddamn life.
Yeah, that is actually, I get a lot of my visual inspiration from movies and from cinema. Yeah. And that particular image is from a delightful Robin Williams movie called What Dreams May Come, which is the saddest fucking shit you're ever going to watch. Don't do it. Robin Williams dies, and it's all in the afterlife.
Can't imagine. But yeah, but like, especially like because Prophet was the only person who like saw that, and like with their whole character thing of like not showing weakness, it's like that guided how I acted throughout that entire scene, with like, you know, digging my claws into Pagan and being on the brink of a fucking panic attack the whole time. Like, that was just so fucking harrowing.
I'm so glad I could scare people.
Yeah.
Sort of tangential to that, I had me and Mikey actually both had the extreme delight of getting to be in probably one of the campiest fucking one-shots I've ever been in with Astral Ant Farm.
Yeah.
Getting to do absolutely dumb, goofy-ass shit. And then immediate tone shift, hey Mags, do you want to go to hell? And I was like, sign me up! But I think it goes into one of my favorite things about Eli, just the versatility of seeing you go from one genre and do an immediate 180 and do like, oh, I want to explore sin. I want to explore all of these like heavier like themes and motifs instead of like leaning it like into like, you know, silly, campy, goofy, which is both are very good. I love a whole swath of doing different genres. I've done campy, I've done fantasy, I've done horror, I've done whatever this is, religious trauma. Even though, oops, that's probably in all of them.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to get to see true, like, I've just been so lucky, so massively blessed to get to play with a bunch of fucking talented individuals and getting to see their true versatilities, not just as players, but as storytellers as well. And I think Eli is such a strong fucking storyteller, and I am so lucky to, again, have a fucking seat for 3 sessions in this beautiful story that's going to be later down the line. Like, puzzle, like, pieces are going to be laid out, everything's going to connect. So, you fucking rocked it, dude.
Hey, Lux, I won't cry on stream. I saved that shit for later when all the cameras are off. You gotta pay money for that shit. Join the Patreon.
Sobbing.
Join the Patreon. Sorry.
For the Patreon.
I have another one.
Okay. Let's let Mikey
yeah.
go, and then we'll go
Go
back to
ahead.
Julia. No, Mikey, go. You haven't
Okay.
shared.
I talked too much.
Well,
You're fine.
I loved the trees. They were amazing. No, for real.
The
the
4
amount of
descriptions
times-
of the forest.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful every single time. Excuse you? You mean 5 because we came back there. Sorry.
Listen, you can't. Well, there's just lots of screaming trees. It's a lot.
So many screaming trees.
So many.
The HOA has been complaining about them for a while. I don't know what to do with them.
Hey, listen,
The
it's real
landscaper
cheap
won't
to live
touch
in the
them.
dark forest because no one likes it.
Yep. No, my favorite thing, and this I've been in a lot of campaigns with you, and every single one that you've DM'd for me has been amazing in the fact of the amount of cockamamie bullshit that you are willing to put up with from the top of the dome is phenomenal. It completely, like, I know too many people that would just absolutely look at me if I mentioned, hey, can I do this thing to like bypass this one thought?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And the rule of cool, can you make it make sense?
Yeah.
And how much you use it is always been helpful. And how do I say this? It's opened so many possibilities, and every single one has been a wonderful adventure.
Well, I super appreciate that. I will say, rule of cool and fuck it, we ball GMing is not for the faint of heart. I just happen to fucking love that chaos. Watch Astral Ant Farm, and you guys will understand.
You gotta be able to appropriately punish it where you see fit.
Yeah. But the thing the big reason, honestly, the big reason I do this, and so Mikey alluded to, so we this all started because of an Unsleeping City themed campaign that is one of our home games, and my players tell a better story than I do. So I just happen to be, listen, I'm a great conductor. You can shake your head all you want. I'm a really great conductor, and I also know how to curate a really good table. So I knew, and again, they've heard this many times after every single session. I picked the right table for this because I knew that I could trust y'all to have your characters and run and make some amazing, amazing storytelling where I just have to put up a barrier, to put up an obstacle, to do something, to describe some fucking freaky trees so many times, and a beach that was definitely not bones.
Bones.
Definitely not bones. Not bones.
Not
and
a bone beach.
Bone in sight.
Not a bone in sight. And like, you guys are, and I've played with many, many great players, but like specifically with this Canto, like I knew that all I had to do was set it up, and I could trust you guys to knock it down, and you did not fail. So thank you for making me look like an amazing GM. I super appreciate that.
Because you are. Shut up! Don't talk
because
about my
you
friend like
fucking
that.
are.
Eli.
And
Hey.
to add on to that, we build those stories based off the beautiful, amazing world you gave us. Don't you fucking do that.
It.
I'm running away.
You put those headphones
Eli,
back on.
Hey,
I
Julia.
will drive to your house and say those words to your fucking face.
Hey, you already do. Anyway, Julia, you
always have that on hand.
I mean, this feels like, I mean, what Mikey just said is like the perfect way to end this question, I think. But like, just like the reveal that all of our characters know each other in the real world, that was
threw me off.
That was dropped. So like,
Fuck
yeah,
you for that one.
and then we were like, I legit did like a double take. Like you can probably see my face journey on that. Like that was just such
a good face crack
twist that you dropped in such like a beautiful way, where it's like, yeah, fucking.
Listen, that guy was nonchalant as fuck.
Just like I
could argue they
really
can stand to be a little more chalant.
Yeah,
a little bit of chalants.
Some chalants would be appreciated. No, but I just really admire any GM's ability to like drop a twist like that like genuinely feels like a surprise, but not in a way that feels like completely pulling the rug out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really hard thing to do as someone who has attempted it in home games. Yeah.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Forget about me. Enough about me. Let's talk more about you guys. I can't. I'm done. It's been derailed. Oh yeah, I mean, speaking of twists, like, what'd you guys fucking think of, like, the tone shift of pre-guide and post-guide? How was that? Because, like, the whole point of this Canto was to be despair, was to be frustration and lost, and then suddenly, the guide, yay, hopeful. I don't know if the guide is very hopeful.
There was for
that
sure.
That man sounds like he's got an ulterior motive. I don't trust him.
No. He's just a nice guy who wants to get us out of hell.
It was so funny. It was so funny because
Saint likes him a lot.
Because they were like kind of flip-flopping whose side they were on. So for Falsey, it was like, oh, this person's making fun of the Saint. Haha, I like this person. Oh, they're making fun of me. Fuck. I think that's why it was a much needed dose of levity, and for the False Prophet, a much needed being brought down a peg. But like, yeah, it was interesting to have this air of like, here's this new element of something that you need but you can't trust. Mm-hmm. Because they're making it very clear off the bat that they're not going to be what you expect, and they're going to change on a dime, and they're very like wily and clever, and it's the kind of thing that like I love so much, but so gets under a character like False Prophet's skin.
The guide's just playing both sides so they can always come out on top.
Hey guys, the guide is a senior who's having to show the freshmen around, so
God. Oh,
y'all
Well,
have
they
your
gave
own
up
side.
that
hell.
took me back.
Over here you have the quad.
Hey, look,
Over here you've
more
got
screaming
the
trees.
business building. Why is the ground bones, you may ask? No, it's not. Stop paying attention to that.
Dude, that's just gravel. Don't.
We have to
It's
walk.
just
Right.
We just have to walk down this scary cliff. No
Our
big
campus
deal.
was built in
Easy.
1900 BC.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
all still original.
Just
Why didn't you guys just meet me in the atrium? You should have just stayed in the atrium.
Jesus
By
Christ.
the way, before more people give me shit about being baby, I know 1900 was not BC.
Hey, listen.
There could have been a 1900 BCE.
There was a 1900 BC.
Yeah.
It's
I mean-
just- yeah, it exists.
Yeah, I was alive back then. Shut up.
Julia, yeah, actually, Julia, guys, fun fact: I cast Victorian ghost children, and that's how it happened.
I
And-
died in 1876 with polio, and
It's
I
the
can't
DEI
swim.
casting, we
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
Yeah, we hire ghosts.
Ghosts.
Welcome to
geese.
DEI.
Diversity win. Died of polio.
Cholera. You died of cholera.
Cholera.
You're not DIE. That's something else.
Yeah. I don't know. Off the trails. Off the rails. Trails.
Conspiracy
Rails.
What was the
theories.
question? What was the question?
Forrest-
I don't even remember the question.
Hey, I don't know. Like, you got anything about
What is any of this, man?
Is there anything that like anything
That's right,
else
the
you want to
guide,
share?
The guide.
What do you think about the guide? What about that fucker?
Yeah,
His
he
Irish
was-
Southern man person.
They were lovely. They were lovely because they were just such a. At that point, everyone was sad. I felt like we had first session. We're in hell. How did this happen? Is this even hell? Where are we? Second session, we get torn to freaking pieces by a bunch of animals and just hopeless despair. And then it's like, oh, the guiding light, literally, who's holding the torch, the only bit of warmth that we've experienced in hell yet. And it was such a, they're awesome. And it was such a needed turning point in the story of just like having the guy just wait there, just like some pissed off, just like, oh, these fucking kids, after we all just died and just reappeared there, just like, oh, fucking finally, you're all here now.
It's
Been waiting
giving,
for 20
The
minutes.
respawn. Thank God.
it's giving
Yeah.
dad picking you up from your little league game, going, now how do you think that went?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Are you proud of how you played today? Get in the car.
Are you proud
Oh,
of your
hey
choices?
kids.
Julia, this is the wrong campaign. Stop bringing Bryce's dad into this. I'm having flashbacks.
Okay, so I think this is a good yes. The guide was spawn camping. It's the only way to get them. They kept going in circles.
Oh my god.
I just wanted to add real quick.
We were sightseeing, okay?
I like that tree.
Yeah, that
We were birding.
just. Oh god, the tourist walk afterwards was so great.
Listen, I didn't want to, I was trying to give you guys so much more RP time, and I was like, small talk?
It was
no?
beautiful.
All right.
Great.
What are you?
How Mikey the player feels about the guide. If this were a movie, the guide would be my favorite character, 100%.
Oh,
Just the snarky, like, could be an asshole, could be like a sweetheart. You don't know. It's great. How the pagan feels about the guide, indifferent is probably what I would say would be the best feeling, because it's not that they hold it against them for why they're there. It's a bit of what they represent as well as the knowledge of they're here to help. It's not like they're here to. They're not the lion.
Yeah.
They're not the panther that just put my head in its mouth.
Hey, listen, you too close to the sun, okay?
Yeah. Also, one of my favorite fucking moments. So great.
That was
Oh my
so
God.
So
good.
great.
That was so good.
Rough.
I'm gonna play a druid. First animal handling check. Man, this was a bad idea.
Oh, my
No, it was.
my entrails.
This is one of my new favorite classes now. Thank you.
My insides are supposed to be inside. Why are they outside?
Oh no.
Huh. How did it get so dark?
Blake?
Why am I
Weird.
experiencing a flashback? What happened?
I also love the guide because, like, as a foil to the prophet specifically, because there is nothing that's like worse for someone who like carries themselves with a lot of like pride and poise and like elegance than someone who knows that and is so annoying about it. Like that's like that when we were going down the mountain and I was like, I just need them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing with the guide. Like I love that about them.
My favorite thing I've ever said was "You've got to unclench," which was
That
such a
That was the most
funny-
out of pocket thing I have heard a DM ever say to a PC
Yeah.
in my short
It was
time in
beautiful.
this
Like
hobby
that-
so far.
that like reached through the character and punched me, Julia, in the face to the point where I was like genuinely speechless. Also, I'd like our audience to know that like anytime I was bickering with Mags, anytime the prophet was like, well, I don't care about you. Like this is past the point of like you're nothing to me. That was just because like we got to a point where I couldn't think of another line to one up what Mags said. So it's like you actually.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is really like another thing. Julia is one of my favorite people to play these games with. You are such a fantastic performer. You are an interesting person to roleplay off of. I learn a lot of new things whenever I get to play with you, and we have done a lot of really good dynamics. We've done friends with basically most of them, Beck and Bryce, Elliot and Ainsley. We've done mother-son with Viola and Wally. We've never done enemies. And this was a new one for me.
Yeah.
And
It was so good.
It was
I know
magnificent.
Julie has zingers. I hang out with them quite a lot. I know you've got it in you, and I've never being on the brunt of it in a roleplay sense was so new. And we have to let the audience know every time we wrapped a session and went right into
I just started
aftercare,
apologizing profusely.
it was apologies. I love you. Oh my god, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
In session though, there were some times where like, wow, I just want to punch Julia in the face for that one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna lie. One of my proudest moments is getting to be the GM of Streaming Rainbow to get the bitchiest Julia. It was
Eli
so
won.
good.
I mean,
Packing up
hey, if
Lux
y'all
and
like
David.
it, I'll bring it out more. I didn't think
Please,
it was the thing people would
please.
be interested
Oh,
in.
You're so good at it. It was so funny.
So fucking
It
good
was
at
so
it.
funny.
So fucking fantastic.
was
I'm
magnificent.
actually not gonna say that.
It was great. It was so good.
The fifth grader energy of everyone to the guy was
Oh my God, he became
it was very like
ratchet
fifth
so
graders,
fast.
especially with Serpent, who saw the guide and was like, okay, this is a puzzle I need to solve. And instead of just went to being like, what are you? In like the middle of like the small talk conversations we're
You
about
can't
to
just
start,
ask
like,
a person what are they.
you?
That was
It
the
was such
to me that was
such
the
a
most
fifth grade
John
moment.
Candy. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm done. You can go.
To me, that was the most John Can like Macaulay Culkin asking John Candy a
Uncle
million different
Buck!
questions at
Oh my
once. Yeah, Uncle Buck.
Oh, dang.
What a deep cut.
Nailed it.
I will say, Mags, as the person, as the PC controlling the character, I love the guide. I love what Eli's doing with the guide, even with all the accent work and you forgetting what they sound like. Incredible. Love it.
Hey, listen, I didn't forget that
amazing.
they're Irish. I just got Chuck's voice in my head, and that shit is herpes.
As soon as
it
someone
never
said
goes
it,
away.
they just emerged.
Mags as the saint, though, after a while, I did sort of see it as the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Ooh.
So the second I saw that the saint, not the saint, that the false prophet and the guide had some weird, like, one-sided beef, I was like, oh, I like that. I'm gonna play into that a little bit. So I guess, like, adding on to my question of, like, what I want moving forward, like, what I hope people will pick up moving forward, a little bit of that. Bring that fucking petty energy. I love it. We love it. We love to see it. I can't wait to see what the next two people do with the false prophet and the saint.
Yeah.
Because
I kept expecting, like, I asked multiple times, like, should I pull back? And every time
No.
people said no, go harder.
Mhm.
So, I mean, obviously, like, talk about lines and veils and
Yeah.
don't be an asshole in real life. But, like,
don't be a jerk, kids.
yeah, don't be a jerk, but be a bitch.
Hell
Is
yeah.
what I've learned. And I'm so happy that Maggie was the person who I could do that with, because it's nice to have someone you really trust to, like,
Someone you've had, like,
you.
rapport with and experience in
Yeah.
like this sort of setting. Yeah, like, I wouldn't have felt comfortable if it was like anyone else. But like, since it's someone who I've had past with and have had plenty of experience with and a really good friendship with, all bets were off. All bets were off.
And on the other side of that too, if I can turn the spotlight on Mikey for a second, we had only played with each other once before, but like it felt so natural for the pagan and the prophet to fall into the relationship that they did. Like it just like was so instantly like, yes, this is the person that I'm gonna turn to in this moment, and that was just so cool. And like getting to get to know you better through that was like, it's just such a delight, and you're such a light of a.
I think
It
everyone
was
loves
wonderful
Pagan.
working, and Pagan loved everybody. Honestly, it was a wonder working with you through this. Like after, just honestly, the second during the first episode of just like the flip around on like the bitch moment, just felt like, okay, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, no, just I was going into this. I was extremely excited because I've worked with each of you well, not really separately. I worked with you, David, and Julia, like on the same project, but it was helpful that it was familiar faces and I've gotten to see your playstyle before. I was extremely nervous in my head of just like, don't fuck this up. Of just because I love you guys. You guys are awesome and have been awesome to play with, and this entire adventure has just honestly, it could have been, it was more than I could have hoped for.
Mikey.
Yeah. You guys all had just such brilliant chemistry. I mean, obviously the saint and the false prophet, like it is the epitome of now kiss. There's a little bit of that energy.
I'm like the only one who doesn't see it.
Weird.
Like
I wonder why. Well, there's potential
I am
there.
So into enemies to lovers.
Yeah,
type situation.
That would be amazing.
There is
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah. I God, but seriously, I cannot get over the bromance, the non-gendered bromance of the serpent and the pagan.
Yes.
Like the
It's
fact
cute.
that they were
It's
buds
so
was
good.
so cute from the jump.
Yes.
It was
That was
so
amazing.
sweet.
Jump.
I wish
That
we
was
could have
the
explored that
best.
relationship so much more,
I
and I
know.
hope that our successors do.
Yeah.
Please. Oh my
Because
gosh.
that was just
that would be
so
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
That
It was
would be
so-
amazing.
Yeah.
The
and
only
it's
right
so-
guy is for
Exactly. It's like, listen, we ride to hell tonight, even though we're here already, for the pagan. Like that is, we all agree.
Oh, yeah.
NDP.
If any of these fuckers can agree on anything, it's protect.
Hard pagan
Let's protect the
stand.
pagan.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm sorry for my successor for what they're about to experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So fun fact. I think I talked about it a little bit in previous sessions, but for all of our 4 archetypes, they, as we all know, they have a place in hell waiting for them. So when listen, wait a minute.
That'd be amazing.
Hell yeah.
That would be
That'd be so
fantastic.
Hey, Courtney,
I would
welcome
love
to
that.
your next
Yes.
campaign.
Yes.
I think Courtney has just volunteered to
Oh.
GM that. Anyway, just kidding. But it'd be amazing. It'd be so cute. It's every archetype has a place that they're destined to go in hell, and that means something. So when your soul is in that location, honestly, I'm going way easy on the hey, listen. This is too.
No, Sarah has a good point. This should be a Turner and Hooch type John.
But who's the animal and who's the cop? And is an animal
Yes.
a cop? Who's the
Oh,
cop
Nobody
animal?
knows.
Zootopia.
And who's the
Nobody knows.
Animal.
That's the thing. You gotta guess, and you won't find out till the end.
Hey guys, join the Discord and tell us about the buddy campaign of Daniel and Mikey. Give us your pitches, please. So basically, yes. So honestly, the Inferno, the source book is mean as hell. Yeah, I can't.
Oh.
Pun intended. But like, I'm going way easy on it because mostly you're already in hell. I don't need to make it worse. So what I am doing is that basically whenever your archetype is going to be in your destination, you become the lightning rod for shit. And hey, guess what, guys? The limbo, the first level of hell is the pagan's location. So our next player gets to be a lightning rod, which is amazing and hilarious. And honestly, one of the things that really piqued the interest for the next player. So I said that and they're like, nice. Yes. Is there for conspiracy theories, is there anything that you guys like the reveal of you are all from the same place, you all know each other supposedly, do you think that's true? Like what are your thoughts as players?
I hadn't even considered the guy lying.
Yeah, no, I didn't think of that either, huh? Shit.
I guess it could be, but to what
You
end?
guys really think a plot device made by the GM is telling the truth all the time?
I mean, that feels
Rookie mistake
Maybe just
number
that
1.
time.
that feels like such an odd thing to lie about, though, because either way, how would we know?
Odd or oddly specific?
Yeah, I don't think that's a lie.
I've made a conspiracy theory.
God damn it!
And I can't wait to find out if it's true or not.
I would like to bite on that one. I do think in my heart of hearts, knowing the cardinal sin that the saint has committed, which is violence against God. That's why they're down there. It's just a general violence against or towards God or whatever the fuck. I think the
Sniper,
saint...
Sarah. Sniper.
Eli
Yes.
Illuminati. I love that.
We are
I
not.
think this-
Listen, hey, by the way, all the compliments. Thank you very much. I will never ever be Sarah. I will never reach that godlike level. That's God. This is so fucking.
Sarah's
funny.
got some fucking good ones.
Back to conspiracy theories. I'm so sorry.
I think the saint does know the pagan on Earth for a very bad reason.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've been thinking this the whole fucking time.
I think that's true. I think that if there's any relation, any physical, tangible in-body relationship that these 4 characters have, the most plausible one is the saint doing some sort of like violent religious act towards the pagans people.
1000%.
That's a little grim. A little
Yeah.
grim. But let's be honest.
Fully-
I also, on top of what Courtney said, the false prophet's the priest.
Ooh.
Oh!
Wait, that's
Hey, audience.
We're
Hey, audience, what are your
Real
conspiracy
good.
theories?
Yeah,
That
drop them
fucks a
below.
little bit.
Drop them.
Damn.
Drop them in the chat.
God.
Yeah,
Drop them in the chat, and maybe you'll give Maggie an anxiety attack on cam.
I definitely love the idea of like the one someone being one of the prophet's cultists.
That'd be interesting.
Honestly, it's probably Serpent. It's
Yeah.
probably Serpent,
like-
and they're pretending to follow you to steal from you.
Oh shit! But like what I said in game was like, regardless of whether or not the pagan we know that we know each other, whether or not we know each other because of cult relations. The prophet's goal is to then make the pagan like someone who is like at their side.
Wait, so if
Honestly,
if the priest, if false prophet is who saint follows, and the sin was act against God, that's just them acting against false prophet in real life, like attacking them.
I bet
That'd
I
be
don't
amazing.
that at all.
That'd be amazing. I'm
part
sorry.
of the reason why why the pagan hung back on the tour to the cliffs was because of that idea. Honestly, it was just wait, if we all know each other, looks over the saint.
Yeah,
Oy.
and like
Ooh
the
boy.
prophet, like
Oy.
before that
Ouch.
reveal was like, hey, let's find each other and be friends in real life. Like that's
Yeah, just like I don't remember shit, but I'm gonna take a step
but
back.
that's a bad vibe right there. God, I mean, there's then ultimately like who the guide is, but like.
Hey,
What
listen,
if
the guide.
Saint and false prophet are brothers and sisters in real life? Like they're siblings.
Like there's some kind of
Two sides of the same coin. That's gonna make the flirty
Hey,
vibe
Cody.
real awkward real quick.
Listen, no,
Yeah. Ooh,
Hey, fun
no.
fact, probably won't be a thing.
Good.
I mean, depends on what people do. I guess we'll find out in Canto 10 what that ends
We're
up
just
being.
all
'cause-
some weird ass family that got sent to hell.
But I love the idea of like who these people like
Fucked up
really
Partridge
are and what
family.
they look like and what their names are, like and like how they interact with each other, if they do much at all. Like we all know each other, but how much do we actually like know each other?
Yeah.
And then like returning, it's like how's that going to be reflected? And it's just so cool.
Yeah, and how are you connected to this guide who has supposedly been here for a while? I mean, the nonchalance wild. I do. I really enjoy the guide. I love being listen, I don't get a chance to be very bitchy very often either. I tend to be a tank and or like cleric person. I'm very helpful and nice. So getting to be catty is my favorite. And the guide is that.
Shocking.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there any other questions you guys can think of? We're coming up on close to an hour and a half. This wasn't going to be a super long hang.
Eli, I think you should answer Lux's favorite kid question though.
I
Pick
can't.
one. Pick one.
I can't.
1 and 4. Pick one.
The guide is my favorite.
The favorite child is the one who's not real.
The
The
guide.
secret answer. The guide.
The guide. Yeah.
I think. Did any of you guys have something that you did to prep for each episode? Like something that you listened to, or
I, at the end of all of our sessions, wrote an in-character note of how the prophet currently feels about each other character, which I am going to be sharing with my successor.
Love it.
But yeah, like, again, because this was like, normally I would make like a character playlist and like all the things, but because these characters are so like amorphous and are going to be passed along, it didn't feel right to like hardcore decide on anything like that. Yeah.
I'm rolling a d4 to see who my favorite child is. False Prophet is
Everyone pick out a
1.
number.
No, False Prophet is 1. Serpent is 2. Saint is 3. Pagan is 4.
Rolls a d6.
He rolls a d6. No, it is the serpent. The serpent.
Yes.
Woo!
Let's go.
I actually, again, I will be happy to tell everybody what I love about every character. I fucking loved how Daniel played the serpent, and
It was
like
so good.
because again, so like for mechanically, all of them had vices and virtues, and one of the serpent's vices is lust, based kind of, not, it's lechery, and but there's also like this need, this desire of things, and it's like, God, it was such an interesting way. Like, how do you equate some of these character choices into like these mechanics into a person, and like, again, the hopelessness and no. Hey, listen, you live with your choices.
Give Daniel 1 hope point back so they can immediately spend it on
Immediately
some
spend it.
bullshit.
I can't trust Daniel with the hope points, guys. Daniel will get rid of them.
Never
Daniel
playing
really
this game
will
again.
just flush it all.
I love it. That's the first time a DM has said, "No, you should stop."
Yeah, we got off, and I was like, "You're killing me."
That was crazy.
No, wait.
It's
crazy.
I'm begging you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus. Anyway,
in terms of character prep, I too am also a character playlist builder, a Pinterest board maker, and at first I wasn't going to, but I did make a general playlist, just getting like a sort of like baseline vibe for the Saint, getting into their character and thinking about like who they are. Some of my favorite songs on there that I think people should really listen to, Ring 4 Patrol by the Deer Hunter from their Anti album is a very good conceptual album. Head to toe, it's a shorter operatic album, but I think people should listen to it anyway, because I will drop it into Discord, Courtney, after this stream.
hey guys, join our Discord.
Join
Join the Discord. Creature by Half Alive is one of my favorite songs from that band. Julia, I am about to see them live for the 5th time in a row. Don't even start. I am a Half Alive truther. It's so good. Pale White Horse by the Oh Hellos, Heaven's Gate by Fall Out Boy, just a lot of really good songs. And then to round it all out, Hebrews 11:40 by the Mountain Goats is a very interesting song that when I first heard it, it really made me think and kind of got me into the Saints' head. Originally off the bat, I had time from our sessions, in between our session 0 and when we did the first stream, where I was like, hey, maybe I'll crack open like Proverbs again and like pick up on some of that so I can like throw it out in midstream. And then life happened and the holidays happened and I got sick, so there was no time for me to really study or do any of that. So, and also, as good as I am at improv and performing, I can't really do stuff like that on the fly and make it work. So I wish I was. I really wish I was, but I'm not that guy.
Beautiful.
Not that guy.
Yeah. Mikey and Daniel, is there was there prep, or was there like, everyone gets into character in a different way? How'd you guys do your thing?
I didn't particularly have a regiment. I just did it.
I love it, dude. I'm the same way. To be perfectly honest, I'm kind of that
sometimes
way.
you really just have to fuck it. We ball.
Yeah. One thing I do try to do is I try to have a dice set for that character. Like, I have a fuck ton of dice, and I try to use a specific one for this character. And I just like you'll see me in the third episode just like going over like this most of the episode because I'm sorting and finding out the perfect dice I want to use, and then the episode ended and I just found the ones I wanted.
That was
to
the
use.
true crime
That
of
was
this
beautiful.
Canto. That might actually be why I go to hell, is that I didn't make this long enough.
No. Dang, but no, that was yeah, but that's about it. It's just like I want the dice for the character, and aside from that, no, I don't really. I just do it. But you all are so talented.
Daniel, stop.
No, accept it.
I
Shut
also
up and accept the
dice
compliment.
my specific character, and ironically enough, for how mean I was to them, they were dice that my Maggie got me.
That's
Merry
amazing.
Christmas.
Oh, that's great. That's another thing.
Ironically
that was, like, also...
enough, I gave Lex a set of dice for Christmas as well that has rolled like dog shit for him, and that he's gonna use on me as punishment. So fair's fair.
Ironically, also the dice that I chose for this campaign was part of the reason why I chose to go Druid.
I love that.
Nice.
But yeah, but as the person who posed the question, yes, I did have a prep for this.
Yeah.
I made a playlist, listened to it, which, by the way, top number one song on there is Wanderlust King by Gogol Bordello.
Love
Which,
Gogol Bordello.
honestly, it's so fucking good. I just got into them because of listening or watching, not listening, watching Creature Commandos, which honestly, fantastic. But sorry for the sand tangent. Literally went listening to the playlist to 20 minutes till we're on, so I'm going to continue to speak in the accent so that way I don't lose it. And then after that, because I so infamously have bad rolls, I just roll a couple of pre-rolls beforehand to make sure, just to check and see how they're doing. So far, they've been pretty good. But yeah, that was...
Yeah, Mikey,
was
you didn't have like super disastrous... I mean, you had a few notable ones, but you were pretty on top of it this time.
Yeah.
Proud
True.
of you, dude. Way to go, King.
Don't use those gut gag dice, but
first time
well
for...
done.
And
Never use the gut gag
We're
dice ever
gonna
again.
find a cure for those gut gag dice, all right? Even if it means I have to go see Murph in person and ask him
And
to
beat
take
him up.
Yeah,
Beat 'em up.
truly, it's worth it.
Okay, great question, Lux. As always, great question, Lux. I would want to see. I want to see all of these people play a different character. I think I want to see, if I have to make a decision, I would make Mags the serpent. I think. See, I'm tempted with Julia to go with the saint to do that to do the other side of that coin, but it's I don't want you to be the pagan, because again, the pagan has that whole thing of innocence that I've seen you do, which you're brilliant at. But I think that I'd move you to the saint.
A bitchy saint.
A bitchy saint. Hey, listen.
Saint's already kind of a bitch ass, so.
Just cunty. And where am I putting you? I mean, Daniel as like the false prophet, like that could be insidious as hell.
Ugh.
I would love to see that.
That means Mikey is accidentally still the pagan.
The pagan. Hey, babe. I love you so much. You picked the perfect character.
I also, Mikey has some snipers. If you're not careful, Mikey will come at your fucking throat.
Yeah.
I would.
Oh,
Mikey
well,
would
now I
kill it
matter.
as the false prophet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's right. Actually, yeah. I mean, okay, if we want everyone to change, yeah, Mikey be the false prophet, be a cult leader, and Daniel, yeah, you can be our sweet little guy, non-gendered
Just a
sweet
guy.
The sweet
little
little
guy.
guy that everyone loved. Sure.
I think that
Yeah,
also.
okay.
I mean, that's what you were in Daggerheart.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Pretty
when
much.
you were in Daggerheart, you were just this sweet little
I
boulder.
was a druid in that one.
And
too,
I was
so
basically
it's
the saint in Daggerheart because Aquila
Yeah,
was,
you were.
was a bitchy angel.
You
Hey, guys.
were.
Oh my god!
Check out our Daggerheart live stream. It was so good.
So
And these
good.
people are
Where I
so
didn't
good.
know how to play the game for the first like 2 hours.
Hey,
Yeah,
listen.
we were playing
any of
different
us?
games, me and Julia.
I was in another room.
Is there anything else before we wrap up? We've been here we were like, how long is this going to be? And I was like, listen, I'm not going to judge because we're chatty bitches.
We won't shut the fuck up.
Is there any last thoughts before we say our adieus? I've got a ton of shit I'm going to talk about, so don't leave yet. Like, I got a cast to announce. I got all kinds of shit to talk about. But again, well, first off, y'all were amazing. I've said it behind the scenes, and I will say it out loud again. I'm truly blessed that this was my first table of Inferno. I chose exactly the right people to set up what is going to be a very long and twisting journey that I'm so excited about, and playing with this table has made me more excited about it. Less daunting, more excited. So yeah, any last thoughts for any of you before we wrap up?
To keep it quick, I'm gonna try to be as brief as I can.
Hold on.
Again, shut up. Again, it is an honor for me personally that Eli asked me to be a part of the ground floor of this campaign, handed me a blank slate, and just gave me full trust and faith and like everything that I was able to, in 3 short sessions, find bearings and create a 3-dimensional character in like less than 6 hours of TTRPG work. Julia, I've played so much fucking D&D, vampires, Call of Cthulhu, you fucking name it with you. Again, always an inspiration getting to play with you. It's so fucking amazing to see someone as young as you are just really own it every single time you're in a scene and just be so confident in your work, and just getting to work with that energy, match it, and get to roleplay with you. I'm so excited to see not only the stories that we get to create further down the road, but to get to see what you do later on in your own work. Mikey, shut up. Mikey, again, we haven't really played D&D together in pretty much a year, and getting to kind of see you like flourish and blossom in this role as the pagan was just so cool to fucking see you do, and to see you get more confident in making character choices and getting to see you create such a very interesting, innocent yet slightly devious character as the pagan was just very interesting, and I loved getting to see your mind work with that, and also just getting to see the choices you made. And Daniel, I have played so many games with these fine, lovely people. It has been a privilege to finally get to play with you. I've heard nothing but positive things about you from Julia for so fucking long, and it just, you bring this air of chaos is not the right word, because chaos kind of brings
no.
a negative
I'll take it.
connotation.
No. That was the most quiet chaos ever. I'm used to loud chaos.
And
that shit was
yes,
quiet.
I am also used to very loud chaos. I think we've all seen the people who I've gotten to play with and have had the privilege of playing with in the past. You just had such a fun energy, and we didn't get to talk about it much in the talkback. But I loved getting to see what the Saint and the Serpent had going on, and I think that's going to be such a great dynamic for whoever gets the torch moving forward. I am very excited to see what goes on, and I hope that in the future we get to play more games together because I think you're a fantastic role player. I think you're a fantastic player, and I just, I would love to just like get to see what else you guys all do. And Eli, of course, if I say more nice things about you, you're gonna tell me to shut the fuck up. So I'll save it for the after show. So I love all of you, and I love that we got to create such an interesting story in, again, 3 fucking sessions, and I just can't wait to see what everyone else does in the future.
Love it.
That's it.
Love you guys.
Next,
Love
anybody
you.
else? Final words?
Awesome.
Final words?
What
You're all
Maggie
so
said.
talented.
Ditto.
Yeah, what Maggie said.
If you wonderful viewers would love to see how... Sorry, hold on. Let me...
Doing the Slavic accent.
Fuck, I didn't spend 20 minutes.
If you wonderful viewers.
You
If
wonderful
you
viewers.
viewers would love to join in on the fun of this wonderful campaign, join the Discord and apply yourself.
Nuclear vessel.
That's amazing.
Eli, don't you have a cast to announce?
I do, but not yet. I got some other shit to talk about.
Never mind.
Hey,
I'll go
hey.
Too soon.
Too soon. No.
Take it back. Take
Okay.
it back.
Before before we talk about the cast, because I will hold this shit forever. I do want to talk about what's coming next for Streaming Rainbow. So next Tuesday, we're going to have the penultimate episode of Guild Phantasmagoria Reincarnation, which is Cameron Koshkam's campaign with Keller O'Malley, where they're going to be playing Bound Together, which is a really cool... so it's actually Bound by Caden Ramstack, which is a solo game. And they don't use dice or anything. They use a normal card deck, 52 cards. It's been a really fascinating look at like story building and world building, the first 3 episodes. And and so 4th episode is going live on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Go check it out. I'm the editor. It got a little glitchy, so just hold on. Something amazing will happen. I'm not going to say anything else about that. I have scheduled... I had allotted for 6 sessions for every Canto, because I didn't know, give or take, how long it would take to make the goal. It just so happened that I had efficient people and honestly a very straightforward level with this table. I wish I could have pulled. I couldn't make it. I wish I could. These were amazing. I didn't get enough time with them.
You can only sightsee through hell so much.
Listen, I can only describe trees for so many sessions.
So many times.
So many times. But
Serpent can only drown themselves so many times.
God, if I had left it going any more, the Serpent would not have any hope left. I cannot.
Yeah.
I gotta do that. Read my notes. So Canto 2 will be premiering Friday, April 18th, which is forever away. That being said, we are not leaving. We're not going anywhere. We're going to have 3 amazing streams to have a little bit of a palate cleanser. So
an amuse-bouche, if you will.
An amuse-bouche. It's very amusing bouche. On Friday, March 7th, we're going to be returning to the world of Hallie's Children with our lovely and perfect GM, Sarah, and a few of the empowered peoples just on a little vacation. We're just hanging. Listen, it's about to get real stressful in Hallie's Children Challenger, which is coming out later this year. So we're just having some chill time, a little vacation. It'll be fun. Nothing bad will happen. I have no idea. I'm very excited to see what happens. And then as a complete shift in tone, on Friday, March 21st, for the first time in the GM seat with Streaming Rainbow, we will have our newest GM, Lux, running a Call of Cthulhu one-shot. tone to a theme to be determined, but I'm sure it'll also be so chill and
It's
not
gonna be so
worrisome
chill.
whatsoever. No trauma ever.
None.
Only
Nope.
sunshine and rainbows.
Lux only does good things. Lux
Lux
never
has
wants
never-
to terrify his
Mm-mm.
table.
I survived
once.
Winsboro.
Listen, but
Barely.
at cost. And then on
Sawyer sanity.
listen, it's all good. Listen, hey, trigger warning, cannibalism. That's not a joke.
I wish it was.
On Friday, April 4th, I will be returning as to the GM seat with another thrilling episode of Astral Ant Farm, the Astral Plane's favorite trash reality TV show. Join me as host 5 lucky contestants to compete for a boon from their ephemeral astral overlords and maybe get sent back home to their families. It's definitely the astral plane and definitely not hell. Definitely. It's the beach is no bones.
There is no beach.
So with Astral Ant Farm, I have been playing with this for a year or two now. The system is now officially a homebrewed modified version of Good Society. So be prepared for lots of rumors and scandals. And instead of letter writing, it's those confessionals, baby. So yeah, join us for some truly silly chaos. This is the loud chaos, the loudest chaos on that.
And watch the first Astral Ant Farm episode featuring Gabby, the nicest person alive, and me and Mikey.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's perfect.
There may be no bone beaches, but there's definitely a hot tub.
There's definitely a hot tub. Watch Mags have panic at a hot woman in a hot tub.
What a surprise. Mags is panicking in a campaign.
Wild.
When?
And now, finally, the time everyone's been waiting for. As I say goodbye to these amazing players, I do want to announce the cast of Canto 2.
You're getting fired.
You all are fired. Goodbye. They're gonna get kicked out of the little back room in the Discord server.
Rats.
That makes sense.
It makes sense. It's gonna get real busy after 10 tables.
So busy.
So many people in that fucking room. Returning to Streaming Rainbow, we are going to have Blackwell, who was on Revamp with Courtney and Adventure Skeletons with myself as the Serpent. Check him out on TikTok for great TTRPG content.
So much fun.
And to see what he has coming up. I asked, and he said nothing in particular. I will say though, the funniest shit, he's like, oh wait, let me check my schedule. Oh good, my Curse of Strahd campaign is the other Fridays. So he's going to be playing Curse of Strahd on one Friday, and then Dante's Inferno on the following Friday.
So 2 separate types of hells. Love
Just
that.
Aggressive. It's very funny. And also returning to Streaming Rainbow, River. We love our River as the false prophet. So
who'd have thought?
Continuing the vibe of just being the absolute cuntiest. We've got that going. He's got it. They have got it covered. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled because you never know when they're going to show up in Streaming Rainbow content. Totally normal.
They just have a knack of doing that.
They just pop up everywhere. It's very strange. And then we are going to have 2 brand new players to the Streaming Rainbow table, which I'm very excited about and not intimidated about whatsoever. First off, we have Lex as the pagan. You might know them from Game Master Monday, but they are Lex Get Pizza. LEX Get Pizza on all platforms. So definitely follow them to see what amazing stuff they've got coming up. They're amazing. They've got such a cool attitude, and I'm so excited for them to play the pagan. And finally, again, not anxious at all, Taya Campbell over as the Saint. Taya can be found over on Damsels in Distress, which their campaign is called Demons and Daughters, which is an all queer D&D show set amidst the demons and decorum of the 1820s in England. This is some
Awesome.
truly Austen shit, and it's so good. Please check them out. They are a UK based
Check
show.
it out.
So good. They're a UK based show. So the timing is a little bit different, but you can catch them at twitch.tv/damsels in dice stress. So it's all one word, but it's dice and stress together. And that is on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So, because again, most of us are in the States. I am
US
on
of A.
US of A. No, Taya is probably one of the coolest people I've ever had the chance to talk to. As soon as they applied, and as soon as I saw their work, I was like, "Oh, that's the state right there." So yeah, so I'm very excited. As I have said to these people many times, but will always say again, they have created these amazing characters and have set the bar really high for me to cast. And I am very pleased with the next people who are going to continue on. And I'm so curious to see how they do it. But a huge thank you to Julia, Daniel, Max, and Mikey. You guys are amazing. I love you very much. And I love all of you guys for watching. Thank you. And join the Discord. Come back on Tuesday for the, again, that episode of Guild Phantasmagoria Reincarnation, as Cameron and Keller have just, what a time they've got. There's a train involved and vampires. So
Interesting.
wild. Very strange. Yeah. So with that, we're gonna call it a night. And we love you. And we'll see you later. Oh, stay tuned for you're gonna see we have a new outro, which is the next Kanto's intro. So we're just gonna goodbye, enjoy it. Watch the outro.